You've made the point that the country roots are important. Why are they important?
I think our country roots are very important. You learn a good, I think you've grown up with a good moral compass from your parents. You've learned to roll your sleeves up, whether it's from chopping woods when I was a kid, but nowadays still doing the manual stuff. And just it gives it a level of trust. When we roll ourselves out in front of some major institutions and investors in Melbourne, I think they just love that country nature. We're not talking there as sort of high-flying smarty guys. There's an element of truth that really comes out in what we talk about.
That's interesting. Does that surprise you, Tony, that something country roots could mean something to the money men in Melbourne?
I think it's just about being natural, and these guys appreciate it when you meet these people. They actually appreciate the frankness, and you're not putting on a persona, if to say nicely. So,
yeah.
And when you boil down to it, the guys and ladies we're dealing with, they're all very much like us. They're all brought up in similar times, and there's a lot of similarities there.
I mean, it's obviously a business, and it's a big business in Australia, but would you accept that what you've done is a social experiment?
I'm not sure if it's an experiment. I've always believed if you do the right thing, it pays you back. You've got to make money, and we've got a vast number of shareholders, so we have a responsibility. And a lot of them are my personal friends and Tony's personal friends. And when we had our 30-year ball last year, basically the vast number of people there were our family, and so we've got that responsibility to make money, but they're all proud to be shareholders because they just see us doing the right thing in public.
But all three of us are grown up in Australia, where developers would develop something out on the edge of the cities. They'd be ghost towns almost. They'd be away from shopping centres, they'd have no park facilities, all the things you've put in. What made you do something different?
I think the word legacy is actually to leave a legacy.
It's very honourable, it doesn't make money.
No, it doesn't.
It does. It
does. And where it's benefiting us, right, after many years of hard work, the opportunities we're being offered now from people coming to us, be it land vendors or be it governments or be it people seeing what sort of job we're doing. And right now, all those opportunities are crystallising for us. So it does pay off.
And it comes back to perhaps your first challenge you gave to us. You can make money out of doing the right thing. You can actually make a dollar from doing good things because people will pay for it because they want a better way of life. Tony and I, between our 7 daughters and families, we want to be able to do things that our kids are proud of. So they're not ducking for cover when they say their kids are developer, their father's a developer. They want to be able to. It's how we do all these cool things with our biodiversity offsets and our sustainability and our Royal Children's Hospital and all the other charities we support and our parks and clubs. And people are a bit aggressive about what a developer is. They get disarmed quite quickly when you describe things you're doing.
Yeah, sure, I would understand that. But if you go to a party with strangers and they say, what do you do? What do you say?
Often now they just say, Villawood, and actually know who you are. Even in Melbourne, people just know who you are just because we do so much public good, I suppose. We're trying to do public good and we're fairly vocal about saying it.
All right.
So people actually know your brand, and there's the developer box, but you're in the Villawood box, which is it's a higher step.
To me, one of the most interesting innovations is the care workers deal. Tell me about that and tell me where it came from.
It's very simply that the reality is that many of our essential workers, our policemen, our nurses, can't these days afford to buy property in the area they're servicing the community. So it's really quite sad if people that are a fundamental part of your community can't afford to live in your community. So
you give them a $20,000 break?
$20,000 grant, and that gives them the opportunity. It's a genuine grant, and we're getting taken up on it every day, but it's a genuine attempt to make sure that the people that need to service our community can get a foothold into the market. And
so I'm a nurse and I want to buy a block here. I get a $20,000.
Genuine $20,000 discount. You walk in, and we've got some criteria which are quite easy to meet, but you will get that grant.
Where did that come from? Who?
I suppose my father's a policeman, my mother was a teacher when I was young, so I just had that affinity with them anyway. My daughter's a midwife, so I've got all 3 sort of basic care workers in the family. And we started off giving $10,000 a block for 10% of our stock, and then prices went up dramatically in 2017, so we thought we'd better make it a bit more relevant, so we brought up to $20,000 for 20% of our stock. And it's just worked really well. And one of the effects we didn't realise at the time was people in your street, they're going to be fireys, nurses, police, ambos. So in the state of emergency, when there's an emergency in your street, guess who's going to get the first service?
And do you see that working now?
It is. Particularly in this community here, we've had a whole group of them together. And they all start talking amongst themselves. Then you realise they are living in the same streets and
creates further bonds within the community.
It's quite amazing.
That's a great idea.
Quite amazing. The mantra or the promise of delivering what we promise our people to deliver is most probably one of the fundamental cornerstones of our business. So if we say we're going to deliver something, we will deliver it. Whether it costs us more than what we thought, it will be delivered. And I think that's something that no one can ever tackle us on, that we have not delivered what we've promised. We are long-term players.